So this is a story I've been hoping to tell for a while. Hope you bear with me on this one. It's probably a little longer than most. Uh, when I moved to Hong Kong, end of '95, I don't remember what it was, December '95, January '96. I was hired by, I was working at Bay Networks, which really originally was Wellfleet Technology out of the Boston area. And it merged with a West Coast company, Bay Networks, and we had distributors that sold our products. And one of the distributors, which was my customer, offered me a position to go and start their business in Asia. So I moved to Hong Kong, cold calling, resellers, all that kind of stuff. And anyway, when I got to Hong Kong, got everything set up. It took a couple of years. We ended up having, fairly sizable office in Hong Kong. We covered what was Greater China at the time, Taiwan, where we didn't do much business, and mostly China. We ended up with 3 or 4 offices in China, 4, I believe it was, and one of the offices was in Shanghai. And we've been having a problem getting a salesperson to stick and actually do reasonable business in Shanghai. So we got introduced to a candidate, a young lady who was born in Shanghai, grew up there until almost her teens, and then moved to Hong Kong, was raised and educated primarily in Hong Kong, but had been doing business back in Shanghai and had wanted to move back to Shanghai. So we hired her. We did our due diligence. She seemed all right, and we hired her. Sent her up there. Visited her a couple of times. Everything was cool. After 3 or 4 months, she had no pipeline. She wasn't generating any leads. And so we decided, me and my number 2 in Hong Kong, who's a Hong Kong lady my first hire. We decided we had to go up there, or I should go up there and see what the hell was going on. Okay, so I fly up to Shanghai, staying, I believe it was the Shangri-La. And in front of the Shangri-La, they had a little separate building. They had a pub and a bar they called the Long Bar, and a restaurant and some other things. So get there the first day, we have some customer meetings. Nothing earth-shaking, right? And we had dinner, and the next day we had a couple more customer meetings. And at the end of the day, she says, "Oh, I got some personal business I got to take care of, so you're kind of on your own tonight." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." So go back to the hotel, shower, change, and I head over to the Long Bar where we'd had dinner at the bar the night before. And I'm sitting there, and the bartender keeps looking at me, right? And I order my dinner, and I can tell he wants to say something to me, right? So I order another drink. I'm like, "What's going on, buddy?" He says, "You have a good time last night?" I'm like, "Yeah, nothing special." He's like, "Yeah, well, you know, some people say it's good, some people say it's not." I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is he talking about, right? Then it dawns on me. So it turns out, long story short, after talking to this guy for a few minutes, that she's a regular in there picking up guys, right? And now I know how she feeds herself because she ain't doing it on my commissions, right? So anyway, so I'm like, okay. So the next day I have some meetings. At this point, I know I'm going to fire her. I head back to Hong Kong. A couple days later, call her down to Hong Kong for a meeting, call her into my office, explain to her that I'm going to terminate her. And like the U.S., most countries in Asia are, employee favorable. In other words, I have a 90-day period where I can fire her, not tell her any reason why, just fire her for no reason. So we were right at the edge of that 90 days. And I told her I was going to terminate her. And I had this big desk, right, with shit all over it. She's sitting on the other side of the desk. She's a Shanghai girl. She was taller than me by 3 or 4 inches. She jumps up and starts swearing at me like a sailor, right? She bends down and reaches her arm out, and she sweeps everything off my desk. My laptop, my calendar, everything. Calling me a son of a bitch and this and that. And she storms out of the office. So I'm like, okay, you know me. Most of you people that are following me, know that I'm not going to put up with that kind of bullshit. So I go out. There's like 20 people. We had 20 people in the office in Hong Kong, between 20 and 25 at any given day. And I'm like, "You're fucking fired." get your shit together and get out of here. So I called my number two and I said, make sure she doesn't take anything that belongs to the company. Okay? So I'm sitting in my office like 15 minutes later, and number two comes in and says, she just got on the elevator with our laptop. Like, shit. So we're in this building. We're like on the 17th floor, I think it was. 2 elevators, and it was like closing time. So that elevator is going to stop on every floor. I'm like, come on. So we go down the stairwell. We go down like 3 or 4 floors as fast as we can. And we position ourselves in front of the elevator on like floor 13, I think it was, right? So sure enough, I'm standing there very close to the doors. The doors open, and there she is standing in the front of a crowd of people holding the laptop. The door opens, I reach in, I snatch the laptop out of her hands, and the door closes. And then we never saw her again. But that was an interesting event. That's but one story in Hong Kong. Someday I'll tell you about the accounting manager we had that was trying to embezzle from us. But anyway, catch you another story. Bye-bye.